Police say 2 people have been shot following a clash between Operation Dudula members and some residents in Pimville in Soweto. For more on this, we're joined by police spokesperson Brigadier Brenda Muridili. Thanks so much for your time on SABC News. Just give us an update on what exactly happened there.
The report that we have as a police is that this afternoon, just after 1600 hours, a group of people, residents from Pimville, together with Operation Dudula members, they marched towards the chicken farm informal settlement. But on their way there, or when they got there, there was an altercation with the residents there. The residents of Pimville are complaining about theft of copper cables that causes electricity outages. So there was an altercation, and then shots were fired. One person has been declared dead on the scene, and we can confirm that one other person has been taken to hospital with a gunshot injury to the leg. There are also reports that the police are receiving from the witnesses that there's 4 more people that have been taken to hospital with injuries, but we are following up on that information.
All right, can you just explain to me the things that Operation Dudula is alleged to be doing, not just in parts of Soweto, but across the province as well, include checking people's documentation and saying to them if they don't have documentation, they should leave. Is that legal?
The SAPF has always maintained a position that people have a right to march as long as they do so within the confines of the law. When they start overreaching, then they are committing crime and they will be arrested.
All right, so I'm just trying to find out then if you're aware that people are conducting themselves in a certain way, the movement has a name, they've got very public leadership. Do you not have proactive policing where you can stop people from doing this or saying that they mustn't do it, or do you have to wait to be reactive when things like this happen, you go in?
Remember, it's not necessarily the position that SAPS is reactive. When people announce or maybe inform the police that they're going to march, the police cannot stop them from marching. So the police will go there so that they can police the march and ensure that it is peaceful. But then we have had incidents where after the people have announced that they're going to march, when it turns violent or as and when they start overreaching and doing the mandate of other government departments, then the police act as and when that happens.
Yeah, so Brigadier, my question would be more about, and I think I may be labouring the point, but you know that people who are falling under this banner are not merely marching. You've seen from news reports and from your work that they go into people's homes or businesses because they are filling a void that some community members believe the police are not doing their job, and then threatening, harassing and demanding that people leave. So it's beyond a march. So I would assume that you are being reactive, especially if you're characterizing the actions still as peaceful marches.
Remember, when people inform the police that they're going to march, depending on the numbers that they are anticipating, the police will also match that with the forces like your public order policing and the local police and neighboring police to ensure that they police that. You cannot preempt that people are going to commit crime. And you cannot go there and arrest people or stop them from marching. You let the people do what they say they're going to do, but then, like I said, as soon as they start overreaching and doing what they are not supposed to be doing, when the police are there, they act. And remember, when we have 1,000 people marching and doing this thing, you cannot arrest all 1,000 people. What happens is, after the march has been concluded, the people have dispersed. There is a report that is compiled by the lead police officer who was overseeing the march. And based on that, people that have organized the march are identified and a case is opened and then investigated.
All right. Can you give us an update now? Have the clashes settled? Has the crowds been dispersed?
The crowd has not yet been dispersed, but we have police on the ground, as I have already said, that they are investigating and they are also taking statements from witnesses. But the situation is calm at this stage.
All right, so when an incident like this happens, and I'm reading reports that residents were unhappy about certain things that were taking place there and felt that they needed more policing or more enforcement when it comes to law enforcement, are you as the police then going to look at this area and see whether you can add resources to there, or you look at the incident and leave it at that?
We are not going to look at the incident and leave it at that. Remember, there we're talking about policing and informal settlements. And what the community of Pimville is complaining about is alleging that community members of this particular informal settlement are the ones responsible for theft of cables, which ultimately causes them to have power shortages or power cuts. So this is an allegation that they have put on the table. And like I said, with any other complaints that or service delivery complaints that the communities conduct, there is an investigation, and the relevant departments or agency, government agencies that will be roped in. In this instance, they're complaining about power cuts because of electric power cables that are being stolen. So the relevant departments are going to sit down with the SAPS and then work on the way forward and how they resolve this matter.
All right. There's also reports on social media that people were shot at with AK-47s and R5s in Soweto. Do we have confirmation of that?
We cannot confirm that at this stage. Remember, crime scene management, the LCRC, forensic people are still on the scene. Based on what they get on the scene, then we'll be able to confirm what caliber of firearms were used.
Brigadier Brenda Muridili, thanks so much for your time and insight on SABC News this evening.